Okay, so let us carry on. So now, Billy, I've got good news. The Mettānisaṁsasutta, yeah? So the Mettānisaṁsasutta comes in many versions. There's one in the Anguttara 8s and the one in the 11s. And the one in the 11s has the most number of factors. So Mettānisaṁsa means the benefits of metta, yeah? So why we should practice metta. And you will be pleased to know that there are many benefits. And hopefully, after hearing about these benefits, you will start straight away to practice metta to the maximum ability, because you understand why it matters so much. So this is like the sales pitch for metta. The Buddha is a good salesman, yeah? He's because that is, I think that is in many ways the job, especially for someone like the Buddha or the Aryas or anyone who's a teacher. You're supposed to sell the Dhamma a little bit. And we should be smart with marketing, right? We should market well. So Bobby, he always tells me when I meet Bobby, he always says, oh, where are the young people? We want the young people to come. And I always say we have to be smarter with the marketing. So something is not working with the marketing, so we can reach the young people. We have the best product in the world, but the marketing is not so great. Yeah, that's the problem. So we have to get some marketing. Do we have any marketing executives in the BGF who kind of really understand marketing well? We should get someone who kind of understands marketing well. Metta to the max. Yeah. Metta to the young people. Something like that. Okay, so let's have a look at the benefits of metta. Mendicants, you can expect 11 benefits when the heart's release by love has been cultivated, developed and practiced, made a vehicle and a basis, kept up, consolidated and properly implemented. Yeah, so this is what we saw before, is that the full development of metta is very demanding, so you have to kind of really practice it fully, and only then does it have these 11 benefits. So let's have a look. What 11? You sleep happily, at ease it says here, but you sleep well. That is a pretty important benefit. Many people these days have a problem with sleeping. Even good people sometimes have a problem sleeping. But if you have metta, you sleep really well. You have no worries. And because you sleep well, you wake up in the morning, you are happy when you wake up. You don't feel tired when you wake up in the morning, you feel energized. You jump out of bed, yay! I remember Ajahn Brahm, he doesn't say this anymore, but he used to say, when he was a younger monk, he say, when you wake up in the morning, you jump out of bed and you say, zippity-doo-dah. I would have loved to be there to see that when he jumps out of bed and says zippity-doo-dah. He hasn't said that for a long time, but in the early days, when I was at Bodhinyana, he would say that. And so these are already very, very helpful things. And so for this reason, many people recommend doing a bit of metta meditation before you go to bed in the evening. Listen to a guided metta meditation. Do some metta, and then you will sleep better if you have a successful metta meditation. And then you wake up in the morning. If you wake up happily in the morning, it means that you are ready for the next day, and then you practice better. You have more time for other people. You treat them better because you already are happy. And then when you are happy, you come to the evening, you can do metta again even better because you're already happy. And it becomes like a snowball effect, rolling. The snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger until that snowball turns into an arahant. You know what I mean? Yeah? That's the theory anyway. The practice a bit more complicated. But anyway, you know roughly what I mean. So you sleep at ease and you wake up happy. You don't have any nightmares. You don't have any bad dreams. You don't see any bad dreams. I don't know if anyone here has problem with nightmares, but if you do, this is the way. You don't have nothing wrong happens in your dreams. All you have is beautiful dreams. What do you see in your dreams when you have metta? You see nice people, kind people. You are kind to others. If you dream at all, usually you don't dream very much if you have a lot of metta. But if you dream, it's really positive dreams. You are kind, they are kind to you. You are all of these beautiful things happen in your dream. I don't know, have you noticed that sometimes the dreams are really happy? That's because your mind is in a good state. So metta, no bad dreams. You know what the best dreams are? The best dreams are like when you are so happy in your dreams that you bliss out so much that you wake up. And then when you wake up, you go straight into deep samadhi when you wake up. That's the happiest kind of dreams. Yeah? Does that happen to people? Yes, that happens to people. Imagine that. You kind of the nimitta or some power in the mind kind of wakes you up because it's so powerful. Bang, you wake up and you kind of go directly into samadhi. That's kind of the result of metta. Then we have humans love you. Yeah? Would you like to be loved by humans? Yes, it comes in handy. It is nice to be, much better to be loved than to be hated. Yeah, it's nice. You feel kind of comfortable around all people because you know that they will treat you well. And no one is going to kind of treat you badly because you are respected and loved because of your metta. Maybe even more important, non-humans love you. Yeah, so all those dodgy non-humans, all those dodgy yakkas that otherwise might hit you over the head and kind of cause you problems, they start to love you and they look after you because of that. So humans and non-humans love you. Usually this is amanusa. It does not usually mean animals. It means some kind of spirits. The deities protect you. The deities, because now you have developed the good character to the highest. And the deities want to look after you. Sometimes they get in the way and they take over when you're heading in the wrong direction. You're coming in your car and you're heading for that cliff. You're about to drive over the cliff. The deities grab the wheel of the car in the last minute and turn you away from the cliff. It's very handy, right? Comes in very handy. The deities protect you. Why do the deities protect you? You'll be surprised. They have a self-interest in protecting you. Because according to the suttas, you have the wars between the devas and the asuras. And when you have good people keeping the 8 precepts and the 5 precepts and the practicing metta, those people tend to get reborn with the devas. And so they help you so that they can increase the devas, they can fight better against the asuras. So you will become a soldier in your next life if you have a lot of metta. That's what it no. No, I don't think it's quite a soldier. The devas are not really soldiers. They're more like they're just having a bit of fun, a bit of banter. I think it is. What? Mafia. So deities protect you. Yeah. So that comes in. That's actually I would say that's very useful. You can't be harmed by fire, poison, or by weapons. Blade is like weapons here. Yeah. So that's also helpful, so poison, fire, blades can't harm you. Why is that? Maybe it's because the deities are looking after you. That could be the reason. Not entirely sure why, but if that's what it says, then it's probably must be some truth to it. Your mind quickly enters samadhi. That is a really important one. This is now we're getting to the ones that really matter. Many of the previous ones are okay, not such a big deal. Okay, sleeping well is a very useful one. Some of the other ones are okay, but entering samadhi, now that becomes really important. So the deeper your metta, because your sila is so powerful, you have really, really powerful sila. Your virtue is kind of taken to the absolute upper limit. Your samadhi is going to be really easy. You just close your eyes and bang, you go into samadhi. No need to watch the breath, no need to do anything. The nimitta just comes up and you enter samadhi as a consequence. This is very useful. Your face is bright and clear. Okay. So it's that's a bonus. It's not kind of the most important one, but it's a nice bonus. You don't feel lost when you die. A lot of people on the deathbed, you can feel confused on your deathbed. You don't really know what's going on. Samulho, you die samulho, it means like confused or without proper mindfulness or whatever. But you have a clarity of mind when you die. And if you don't go any deeper, any higher, you will be reborn in the Brahmaloka. Yeah, so at the very least, you get reborn in the Brahmaloka. And of course, it is also because you enter easy into samadhi, you also have the perfect basis, as I said before, for insight. Yeah, it's a perfect basis for insight. You can expect 11 benefits when the heart's release by love has been cultivated, developed, practiced, made a vehicle and basis, kept up, consolidated, and properly implemented. So, there you are. So many upsides from practicing practicing this kind of samadhi. Are you convinced? Yeah? Okay. Wow, you are easily sold on this idea. That's good. Excellent. Okay, so we have now looked at all the various benefits of metta, and no doubt there are more suttas as well as metta benefits, but those were the ones I kind of got together fairly quickly. And now I want to look at how this expresses itself in love for various people. Yeah, if you practice metta, this love can happen in a number of different ways. And one of the important kind of love is the love for oneself that you see in the suttas. And then also interesting, there is the love for the Buddha. We've already seen this a little bit already, but we'll see it a little bit more as we come to this chapter. And then the love for your fellow practitioners, yeah, the Sabramacharya, the people in the Buddhist community. And then beyond that, there is love for the whole world and for all beings. So you can see there's a little bit nuanced here, where we have love and we share it out to all of these various beings and in various directions or whatever. So this is what we're going to have a look at next. So we can maybe just have a brief look at this before we have another quick break. So, loved. This is from the third Samyutta. This is the Kosala Samyutta, and these are the discussions between the King Pasenadi and the Buddha. So, at Savatthi, seated to one side, King Pasenadi said to the Buddha, "Just now, sir, as I was in private retreat, this thought came to mind. Who are those who love themselves, and who are those who don't love themselves?" So we have already looked at this very briefly before. I mentioned this in connection with another sutta that is very similar. Yeah. So, but it's a kind of a nice question. We all should love ourselves. We should look after ourselves. We should care for ourselves. We should have affection for ourselves. We should be kind to ourselves. If you are kind to yourself, then you can be kind to others. If you don't have kindness to yourself, how are you going to be kind to others? Yeah, you always have to start at home, start with the person closest to us, which is ourselves. So how do we have love for ourselves? Wow, exciting. Then it occurred to me, those who do bad things by body, speech and mind don't love themselves. Even though they may say, "I love myself," they don't really. Why is that? It's because they treat themselves like an enemy. That's why they don't love themselves. If you live by way of bad things by body, speech and mind, it feels like you're hurting other people. That's what it feels like, and that's why you think you love yourself, because you hurt other people means that you're getting your own back, or you are doing what you should do, or whatever. But actually, the only person who gets hurt for sure is you, because you're making bad karma, and you will feel bad about yourself in the future. But the person you do bad things against, maybe they just shrug their shoulders and say, "Whatever, yeah, it's your problem," and they would be right. It really is your problem. Yeah. And so you are causing hurt for yourself in the future. You are making sure that you will suffer in the future. So you are treating yourself like an enemy would treat you, because an enemy wants you to suffer. Now you are making yourself suffer. So be kind to yourself by being kind to others. It's a beautiful way of thinking about life, because it means, again, we erase the distinction between self and others. Yeah, like I always like to say, the really spiritual actions in the world, the spiritual speech, is the speech which is beneficial both for oneself and for others. If it is only beneficial for oneself, then it's selfish. If it is only beneficial for others, then it's like it's like a action of the martyr or something like that. But this is for both, and then there's a truly spiritual action based on that. That is true for all good actions like generosity, virtue, and also meditation. Meditation is good for ourselves and for others. So is obviously wisdom. So it's a really nice way of thinking about it. Those who do good things by way of body, speech, and mind do love themselves. Even though they may say, I don't love myself, they really do. Why is that? It's because they treat themselves like a loved one. That's why they do love themselves. You are creating good karma for the future. You will be happy in the future. You will have less suffering in the future. And so you are treating yourself like a loved one for that reason. This is a very powerful reason for treating other people well. Yeah, in the end, you're actually treating yourself well. You don't know about the other people. That is so true, great king. That is so true, said the Buddha. And he repeated the king's statement, adding, if you'd only love yourself, you wouldn't yoke yourself to wickedness. For happiness is not easy to find for someone who does bad deeds. When you're seized by the Terminator, as you give up your human life, what can you call your own? What do you take when you go? That what goes with you, like a shadow that never leaves. Both the good and the bad that the mortal does in this life is what they can call their own. That's what they take when they go. That's what goes with them, like a shadow that never leaves. That's why you should do good, investing in the future life. The good deeds of sentient beings, support them in the next world. So the Terminator is Mara, right? Terminator is sometimes is called the end maker, Antakaro. So Antakaro is like Terminator. It kind of fits well with the... Isn't there movies called Terminator movies? Yeah. Scary. So this is the real Terminator. Forget about those movies. This is the real one. The really scary one. Yeah, I'll be back. That's right. He always comes back. Yeah, in your next life. That's a rebirth for you. I'll be back. Yeah. So what you always take with you. You can't take with you anything in this world. That's what you take with you are your good deeds. That's why you should do good actions. And you should take out those pots when the house is burning down. Those pots that are taken out of the house, they are the ones that get used. In the same way, you should use your life in a good way by being generous and kind. And those things, when you make good actions or you use your wealth to good use, then it's like the pots taken out of the house burning down, as we saw in that previous sutta before. So, there you are. Yeah, the good deeds, like a shadow that never leaves you. Yeah, they come behind you. They are always with you. The deeds that you have done. You cannot hide in the corners. The deeds are always going to be there. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. All right. So, anyone have any comments they would like to make? Yeah, please.
Ajahn, good evening. May I ask, Ajahn, you imagine you are Gautama Buddha, okay? And then, and then can you guide and teach us how we should do our death contemplation? Because when I was doing the death contemplation when you were talking, right, I actually go through the process that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure. Maybe I got some right, maybe I got some wrong. But in my thoughts was like, in the olden days, people would think that they want their children to be around them when they die.
Yeah.
But when I was doing my death contemplation, I was thinking that it's better that I let my loved one knows that when I want to die, please leave me alone for some space of time for me to be able to go into that state of mind that I want to pluck it off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Ajahn, you imagine you are Buddha, you're talking to us. How we should do our death contemplation.
No,
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll tell you how to know what the Buddha would say, because it's in the suttas. Yeah, the Buddha is already talking to us in the suttas. And so what you have to do is just read the suttas and find out. So what does the Buddha say in the suttas? I'll tell you what the Buddha says, because it's actually there in the suttas. So first thing he says that we should do death contemplation often, because it is an important contemplation. He talks about it in many, many places. And the result of that is that you become peaceful. That's basically the result of death contemplation. You kind of give up attachment to things in the world, and so that's kind of the point of it. And then he says the way to do it is that you have to, first of all, you have to imagine. One of the ways of doing it is to imagine the many ways you can die. So that it becomes real. That's why I said walking down the stairs, falling down the stairs, you can die, because that's real, that's realistic. In the same way, you can, die in traffic, very easily die in traffic here in KL. Sometimes I walk around, I think, wow, those cars, they are kind of scary. I don't know what they're going to do. It's not so it can very easily happen. It happens everywhere in the world. People die in traffic all the time. You can die of illnesses. You can have a heart disease or whatever you don't know about, and suddenly that's it, you're finished. So that's one way that's one important way to make it realistic. Another way of doing it is you hear about other people who die. This is also what the Buddha says. So you can read about that in the news or the newspapers or online or wherever you are, or maybe you hear about it through friends or family members or whatever. Someone has died. And when you know that someone has died, it's like you should realize that could be you. Because you are no different. We often think that when someone else dies, it's like their problem, because they were just being stupid or whatever, and we cannot dismiss it. We don't take it on board. But when someone dies, actually, it could be you. You could be in the same boat. You could have exactly the same thing. And so seeing other people's death should stir us, to remind us of ourselves, of our own mortality as a consequence. So this is another way of thinking about it. A third way that the Buddha talks about is that we should bring it as close as possible. So you may be able to think, oh yeah, I'm going to die in a year's time. We all know we're going to die eventually, or we sort of know that. But you want to bring it close. The closer it is, the more you let go. So if you are going to die in a year's time, okay, you don't have to do very much, because it will kind of work itself out. But if you're going to die in a week, then that changes quite a lot. You only have a week left. It means that probably many things you will deprioritize, will not be so important anymore. You just want to be peaceful and quiet or whatever. But if you're going to die in an hour, then it's even less. This is one of the reasons why I was saying on your deathbed it should be quite close. Ideally like 1 hour or 2 hours at the most, because then you have a really strong feeling that it's close. Don't have any time to mess around if it's only an hour away. You've got to feel it now. But ideally, says the Buddha, you should be ready to die on your next breath. And that's really hard, right? That's kind of very, very close. But if you have that, then there is no holding on to anything, because there's nothing to be done in the world. If it's only one breath away, you can't, there's no point in having any desires or any kind of stupid defilements. And so if you do that properly, it kind of lets go of all those defilements and desires. So this is what the Buddha says about death contemplation in the suttas. And so you want to make it real. Has to be as real as possible. And that reality makes, that's by bringing it into the present that you get that reality. So the death contemplation works if it makes you peaceful. That's how you know it works. Question? Okay.
On the illness part, there is a conscious and unconscious. So the conscious one is, all right, I can understand. The unconscious one, I think would be the case where need to let the loved one knows that if one already died, then no need to resuscitate. But on the accident part, I find it difficult to imagine how I would contemplate my death because it's an accident.
Yeah.
So the body dies, then the brain is still functioning. The mind is still functioning.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the death contemplation of a mind that is still conscious when the body already died. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but the point is also that if you do the death contemplation, then if an accident happens, you will be ready, because you had your mind will automatically go into that way of thinking. Yeah, when the accident happens, and so very, very quickly the mind will go into that mode, and then you will have a nice and peaceful death as a consequence. You know what it's like just before an accident, everything slows down. That's what they say. Everything goes very, very slowly. Yeah, and because things get slowly, you have the time to reflect in the right way, even if the accident happens very fast. And so then your mind will automatically, because you're already used to the idea, the process of thinking like that. Yeah.
Ajahn, which are the suttas that we can refer to for the death contemplation?
So I think the suttas I was just talking about now, I think they are in the Anguttara Nikaya 6s, I think. 619 and 620, yeah, that rings a bell, yeah. Anguttara 619, 6.19 and 6.20. Yeah. Do you know how to find the suttas? Yeah? Okay, good, well done, yeah. Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, that's good. People know how to find the sutta. That's really cool, actually. That's great, isn't that great? I'm really happy when I hear that, because most people are kind of a bit oblivious to this. So that's wonderful. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Ajahn, I noticed we have skipped 3 suttas.
We still have 3 suttas?
We have skipped 3
No,
suttas.
we haven't skipped them.
No,
it just looks that way. We haven't. We're going to do them later on.
Okay.
I have rearranged things a little bit. You see,
okay.
Because sometimes I have to send the suttas to Bobby so early, and afterwards I kind of. Actually, I did that this morning. I often have a look at the suttas just before I come out. So in the morning, I kind of after I wake up, I have a look at the suttas, and then I kind of rearrange a bit and kind of put them in different order. So that's kind of what happens. So no skipping here.